so different.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, my We Are Not So Different family. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. So this morning's guest, we have Miss Gina Bell. Good morning, Miss Gina.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me on.
You're so welcome. Thank you for spending your time with We Are Not So Different, because I know you are one busy lady. So allow me to give my audience just a slight peek into what you have going on. So Ms. Gina Bell is an empowerment guide, yes, author, speaker, workshop host, and creator of the Tears Tulle movement. She is the author of a woman's empowerment picture book called Tears Tulle. Gina uses art, metaphors, and rainbow tulle to help people all over the world remember their color. Once again, yes, and we're going to jump into that in just a second. But before we do, y'all know the drill. I want you to get your favorite drink, whether it's Kool-Aid or Cavassier. Find your favorite spot on the couch or wherever that is. I guess I should open that up. You could be in the bed, whatever is your comfort spot, and tune into this conversation that me and Miss Gina can have. So, Miss Gina, each and every one of my guests gets the same two questions. First one. If you had the undivided attention of an audience of your choosing, who would that audience be, and what would you tell them?
I think that audience would be women my age, actually, or around my age, because when I started doing the work I'm doing in the world and writing this book and doing these different things, I really was wanting a reminder for myself. And so I think that if I could talk to anybody, it would be, people around my own age that could start to remember their magic from within the messiness of life. So put me in front of a women's group, put me in front of 500,000 women. I mean,
Yes.
whoever it might be. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that question.
Okay. And then if you had the opportunity to speak to a younger version of yourself, I know like if you had that audience, you want to speak to people your age, but if you could speak to like a 4 or 5-year-old Gina, what do you think that she needs to hear?
Well, I say that I wrote Tears Tulle because it is the story I probably needed to hear as a child. And so, yes, it was written for adult me to remember, but it was also in hopes that children everywhere would start to connect earlier. And so I think I would tell little Gina that failing isn't only, or what we perceive as failure, isn't only part of life, but it can absolutely be stepping stones to different places, different adventures, different explorations in your life. And so, I didn't grow up in a family that was like, oh, you have to succeed or something, nothing like that. And I still have this idea that failure, just as a society, just as, growing up here in America, that we're not supposed to fail. And so I think I would just say to little Gina, hey, failure is going to be part of it. Let's not pretend it isn't happening, and let's acknowledge it and learn from it and move forward.
I'm 100% with you. I don't know where we got the idea. I don't know if it's cultural, if it pertains to like where we live, but yeah, where did we get the idea that failure was so, like, even the word carries a negative connotation, right? And it can be associated with other negative connotations, negative feelings, shame, embarrassment, and those type of things cause you to shut down. want you to hide. And, where did that come from? Because you're absolutely right. Failure is part of life. If you have not failed something, that's a failure. You're going to fail. So why not, if it's something that's part of life, learn to embrace it? Because if you can learn from it, then is it really a failure? So, yeah, I like that. And that you were speaking the little bitty, Gina, but I was speaking to my grown self, adult Andrea, like failure. Listen, ma'am, it's part of life. Keep it pushing. And that's for y'all too, babies. I hope y'all listening and learning. Okay, so let's jump in. First of all, I was, stalking your website in a good way, like not in a psycho killer Norman Bates type way. Mother of 6 kids and creator of an entire movement. First of all, Slay Queen Slay. Let's touch on those 6 babies real quick. Well, okay, no, we'll get back to the 6 babies. The entire movement, Tears Tulle. Tell us, how did it start? What's it about? Give us the tea. Give us the inside goodness.
Yeah, and I want to start off by saying that, man, I am so real life. Like I have this movement. I have all these things going on. I'm going out in the world with my color. And girl, my house is always a mess. Like I just,
that's real.
Like it's real. It's Tears Tulle. So that's what the movement's called. That's what the book is called. It's called Tears Tulle. And it all started on an abandoned overpass in Orlando, Florida. A few years back, someone had gifted me this, Cassandra Youngs is a fashion designer. She had made this huge rainbow tulle skirt. And I was standing on this abandoned overpass as part of a photo shoot. There was a drone above me. There were photographers at the very end of this long overpass road sort of thing in the middle of all this wooded area. And I had paired the colorful skirt with a black tank top. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is representing my color and my darkness, like me standing here with all this beautiful, colorful tulle. And life was not going perfect for me in that moment. Yes, it was an awesome photo shoot and it was a magical day, but my husband was going to have brain surgery when I returned home. He's doing great now. He's fully recovered, but there were just a lot of things happening. It was like the anniversary of my mother's passing, and life was messy and real. And I was standing there, and it was like suddenly I had permission to do both, to be in that space with all that mess and to reconnect with this color. And the black tank top represented all that gunk, all that darkness, everything that I had been through up until that moment. And someone said, Gina, can you run? And I fluffed the skirt up all around my body, and I was in my bare feet out there. And I just took off down the overpass, just running towards things I didn't even understand yet. And just feeling this rush of adrenaline, and like these seeds were sort of bursting from my chest and going out into the world. And I felt like I had my mom, my late mom, and every ancestor, every woman who didn't go fully out in the world with their color, all this energy just sort of gathered around me and sort of felt like it picked me up off my feet. And by the time I got to the end, there were people crying. It was just like this huge emotional moment where I did go back and went to real life and to all these things that were happening, but I held on to that moment, which would later become Tears Tulle, which would become the start of this movement where I would want other people to feel that connection with their color while all their stuff is going on. We're not waiting to get to a certain point. And so I decided to share my rainbow tulle skirt with 52 women in 52 weeks across the US and Canada. COVID update, it takes 2 years for a skirt to travel to 52 homes if we have a global pandemic. Yeah. But that's where we're at right now. And, we're on like house 50, and it's been this amazingly beautiful project that all started from that day on the overpass, and just wanting to help women take up space in the world and share their color and their light from within the darker places.
I love one of the things you said, like you gave yourself permission to be in both. Because, and this is not just women, men and women, we all have the propensity to live compartmentalized lives. And speaking from experience, that takes a lot of energy. It's like you're twirling how many plates on how many different, like, it takes a lot of energy. Why not give yourself permission to let it happen? The dark that you said that, you know, the black was represented for, and then the color. Oh, that's another thing. What is this color that you're talking about? You said my color. What does that mean?
Yeah. So I think from the time we're conceived, like we're in the womb, we're this energy that's coming into the world. I think that we have this color, this magic that we're born with. And as we go through life experiencing different moments and having hard times and muddy, mucky moments, we start to forget that color a little bit. So it's that early, sort of fearless, glitter, confetti, like hopefulness that I can go out into the world and really make a difference, because we all feel that deep inside. I think that we're meant to do something magical in this world, and we get distracted and we get busy and we don't necessarily always connect with that color from within the darkness of real life. So that color is just, I believe, what everyone's born with. And if we can reconnect with how it's part of it, I think we connect with little pieces of it throughout our lives. But when we can really connect with that really bright spot that's sort of lying dormant in our souls, I think that we could really do amazing things and connect with amazing people.
I love that. So I've been on the website, so I've seen the skirt and it's absolutely fantabulous. Okay. So I guess I'm asking, whose idea was it? Like, how did even the creation of the skirt come to be? Did that come before or after your book? And then when you did make the skirt and you saw all of it in its resplendent glory, were you like, oh, like, is that when it hit you, like, this is a movement? Or it wasn't until you were like track star on the bridge where like, how did that come to be?
Yeah, thank you so much for asking that question, because I think sometimes people are like, oh, someone's got it like all together. Like they must have just decided, pop, there's the movement, and that isn't at all what happened. Like I said, I was on that photo shoot and I had been wearing colorful tulle skirts for a long time, but hadn't worn a multicolored tulle skirt. So I had arrived in Orlando with pink and peach and black and different color tulle skirts. And a friend and mentor of mine surprised me with this Cass Young skirt. And I just remember opening it out of the box and thinking like, oh my gosh, this is like, I feel like I was born wearing this thing, like that this is like part of me. And so I'd wear it at the photo shoot. I would put it in this, it took up an entire suitcase to get the thing home, this giant suitcase. And I was on the airplane and I fell asleep and I had a dream that these little tulle wrapped packages were floating out of the plane and were landing in people's homes.
Girl, shut up.
I'm getting goosebumps right now. Like I can't handle even thinking about it. Like they drifted down and I just, in my dream, just watched all these little packages going to different people. And I woke up and I was like, what the heck was that? Like, what was that? Like, what a strange dream. And so I got home, I put the skirt away in a safe place in my house because the thing is enormous. And it would take me like 9 months before I realized that that skirt was not supposed to stay with me. I do have a replica of it. I wear it when I'm speaking, but that the original skirt was supposed to travel and change and grow and stretch out and do all kinds of different things. And it was not an immediate process. And it would be probably a year. that sort of brought that moment together where I was like, oh my gosh, it's Tears in Tulle. It's a movement. It's not tears. It's not from tears to Tulle, which was an original thought, because we don't get from tears to Tulle. It's tears and Tulle because we're living both on most days.
Wow. Wow. So I can only imagine, like, I don't just like I said, I've seen the skirt, and when I laid eyes on it, I was like, that's like it is a thing of beauty. So God bless the lady who created it and all that she made it special for you and surprised you with it. But like, I love, like, I don't know if you're familiar with the prophetic, but that dream that you had surely was prophetic. That you had it was dropping down on different places and different lives. Like, I think that's, but, and now you get to, I hate this when it happens. Y'all forgive me. So I have little fits where my brain and my mouth feud, and I have like a million different words, and they all trying to come out of one hole, and then I sound. But it's only because I'm so excited because I can envision exactly what you dreamed. But now that you see it actually coming to fruition in real time, does that like give you like the heart flutters and the tummy like butterflies? Because that has to be awesome to be able to see that kind of thing.
Yeah, it is so much more beautiful, and it has grown into its own energy, its own thing. Like, it's more than I ever could have imagined it could be. Like, that skirt started out in a huge box. It came in this enormous brown paper box, and as the movement went on, the box got smaller and smaller and smaller. And so when the women opened the box up, the skirt expands out of this small space, and it's such a metaphor for how we're all like capable of expanding out of the boxes that we're put into as, you know, children, as teenagers, as adults, you know, that we sort of get comfortable in. And so yeah, to see the skirt go out into the world and to see it change with every story, with every woman, with every different size box it goes into, the skirt itself like has this energy of its life of its own. And I really think it does give us permission to remember for a moment, even if it's just a split second in time. Yeah.
So now I'm going to shift into the whole 6 kids. Well,
Sure.
before that, the fact that your husband was preparing for brain surgery and still with the kids and still with you that's a lot. I just want to acknowledge that first and foremost. So God bless you. That's a lot to be dealing with, all this running around in your mind while you're preparing for this photo shoot that would potentially, well, unbeknownst to you, change hundreds, if not thousands of lives. But you have 6 kids. That is enough right there. Like, if you did nothing else, that's like an entity of its own. How many of those are girls?
Yeah, so my kids right now are 17 to 23 years old, and I to my second marriage brought 2 girls and 2 boys, and my husband brought 2 girls. So I have 2 biological daughters, and I have 2 stepdaughters. So there are 4 girls total in our not so much in this house because they're growing up and going out into the world and doing different things. But yeah, there's 4.
So I guess my question to you is 17. I mean, you have some life experiences by 17. So my question to you is, do you think that they get it? Like, at this point in their lives, that they understand the magnitude and the potential of movement like this and its ability to impact, and I say this with no pretense, generations?
Yeah, what is coming to mind for me with this question is that the work I'm doing in the world isn't just for myself. It isn't just for my kids, but it's to honor the women who came before me. And growing up, I saw my mom had this manuscript. She had a whole book in her dresser drawer. And so I would sneak in and I would look and I would wonder if the book was ever going to be published, or I'd see it in bookstores or whatever, you know. And for years she had this book in this drawer. And when she passed away years later, we couldn't even find what people would think and that sort of thing. But, you know, this is like what I was carrying, what I'm carrying in my sock drawer of life, you know, like I'm take for her, for the women who came before her, for all of them that wanted to go out with their color. I'm connecting with that part of myself. And so I think I grew up with a very creative mother she was photoshopping before photoshopping was a thing. Okay. You'd come over to our house and there would be, you might find like an Enquirer magazine, like on the coffee table. And you'd be like, that's weird. Why does Vicky have an Enquirer magazine, you know? And you'd open it up and it would be all the family's faces and stuff in all these scenarios, like husband abducted by aliens while sleeps. And it would be my dad's picture on there. And then, you know, like she did all these really funny and creative things. There were backyard circuses, there were block parties, there were mystery parties, there were belly dancers at birthday parties. I mean, they had their own version of Saturday Night Live out in the garage. I mean, it was a lot of creativity that was close to home. So I learned how to be creative close to home, but then taking that creativity out. And so I think as I got older, saw that my mom really had the potential to bring that light to more people in the world. And I thank God that she gave my brother and I these beautiful creative gifts. And on the other hand, I think that my daughters are seeing me going out into the world with what I'm carrying in my sock drawer of my dresser. You know, like I'm stumbling around, I'm failing, I'm figuring it out. And I'm hoping that because I choose to continue to do that, that my daughters, that all of my children are seeing that more as normal, you know, like not just one thing you get to, you know, if you're not too afraid, you get to that moment where you have your book published, you know, like I'm hoping they are just living that life, knowing that it's okay to go out into the world and fall on your face and get up and try something different or try again.
So do you see like any of that same spark or that creativity or that, do you see that in your children?
Oh yeah, I can see mine from my mom and I can see my mom's from her mom. So like there's this, my kids don't even know it yet. They don't know how brilliant they are yet. You know, when you're younger, I think it's harder to you know, connect with that future light that you're going to one day bring into the world. But oh my gosh, I can see just like each one of them is carrying their own lantern of like, hey, I have the potential and a responsibility to the world to bring this light, to light this path for others to learn from. So yeah, I'm proud. Like I sent my daughters off to college with these fun fail stick jars. And a fun fail stick jar is where they were invited to put notes, fun things they viewed as failures, and fantastic things. So fun fail stick. And so they, you know, Sam and Izzy, two of my daughters came home with the jars just filled up and they had celebrated. And, you know, I thought, oh my goodness, this is becoming more normal, that we're not looking at failure as this, you know, horrible thing to hide away from.
Right. Okay. And I like that. And y'all, you guys are hearing my dog. Apparently she was thirsty, so she's extra loud as she's slurping her water over there. Don't pay her any mind.
Tears Tulle.
Yes. Like, gosh. So I love that because, you know, so I worked in higher ed for a while, and a lot of times you'll see that the students, they view failure as end all be all. Like they really think it's like the end of the world. Like, oh, I did not pass this class and this is the end. No, like it's probably really just the beginning. Maybe you're taking some time and you're thinking, okay, maybe this isn't the area that I want to study, or maybe I am not as intrigued with this topic or subject that I thought I was. It opens up so many doors. So yeah, I love the fact that they're getting the chance to view failure from a different lens at such a young age. So kudos, Mom.
Oh.
So you said 52 states in 52 weeks, but then coronavirus was like, pump your brakes. So how many have you got to thus far?
Yeah, so we are, don't quote me on this either, I have to look at the calendar, but I think we're on house 50 right now.
Okay.
And I have a couple bonus people I want the skirt to stop at before we do a year 2. So we have a waiting list, I think, through year 3 right now. And
Wow.
so the skirt won't travel as closely for season 2 or 3. It'll be way more spread out where it isn't this weekly, so people will have more time with the skirt and that sort of thing. But yeah, it's traveled all over the US into parts of Canada. It's in New York right now with Laura Lynn Jackson, who is just this amazing author who wrote some pretty fantastic books that everyone should check out. But can I say where it's going after Laura?
Yes.
Drum roll. Yes, it's going to you. Like it's going to be making its way to your home. And so I'm so excited to see what magic you bring to this project through your own creative light. So I'm excited about that.
Oh my gosh, I'm super excited. Thank you so much for even letting me like horn in on the fun and be included. I'm super excited. I am literally envisioning the first time seeing it, let alone the first time putting it on, just the first time seeing it and then feeling it and knowing that it has visited some powerful women throughout the United States and beyond. And then knowing that it's going to continue like past the United States, past Canada, and as the movement continues to grow and as women become more empowered, like it's like limitless possibilities. So I'm super excited.
And we just kicked off last month, August, July, we kicked off the men's movement, which follows a cape. Oh my gosh, everybody go Google Tears and Taffeta, because that's the name of the men's movement. My brother wears the cape. Yeah, my brother's 6'8". He wears the cape for the first time, and that'll travel and men will connect. Taffeta is another fabric like tulle. So yeah, that's kind of simultaneously happening as the skirt's ending year 1. The cape is beginning to travel and empower men, and they'll pair it with black and share their stories just like the skirt. So
you better go, girl. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Because a lot of times, and I apologize all the times because me and y'all my babies too, but I say it all the time, I am a woman, so sometimes I'm more impartial to the women, but I love y'all men just the same. But Miss Gina, she has covered it all, baby. What'd you say? It's Tears and Taffeta?
Yeah, Tears and Taffeta. It's a beautiful taffeta cape. The same designer that made the skirt made the cape. And warning, tornado sirens, not real tornado sirens, but you might hear those coming through your podcast. They're testing them on Saturdays in our area.
Oh, you're fine. I was about to say, girl, do you need to duck and cover? But if it's
no,
a test, okay.
Not at all. It's a sunny day here outside of Chicago. So
okay.
Yeah, but the taffeta cape, same designer, and it's just this massive, this beautiful, long, multicolored cape, and there's a story to go along with it. Like there's a story with the women's movement. And so yeah, my brother bravely wore the cape first, and so those two things are happening at the same time, and people are connecting with the magic.
Absolutely love it. Yes, absolutely love it. So I also podcast Tears and Tulle's Talk. From podcaster to podcaster. Give us a little bit more information. What's going on the podcast?
Yeah, so I have 2 seasons of Tears and Tulle Talk, and took a little break, and should be starting that back up again soon. but it is a podcast that interviews only people who are connected to the movement in some way. So if you were a photographer, if you wore the original skirt, we also have Tears Tulle tribes and Tears Tulle trailblazers, which are women who share skirts in their own circles and share their stories. And then there's trailblazers, which are just single women without that group. We're really all the group. I mean, the whole world is your group if you're a trailblazer. But we have women who wear those skirts. Will have men that wear their own versions of the cape. And so they will also come on the podcast and tell their stories. So you might see a trailblazer, you might see a tribe leader, you might see a person that wore the original skirt. But it's incredible to talk to these different people about their own unique experiences. And they say that there's an energy when they open the box. They can like feel the empowerment. They can feel the magic. They feel that the skirt has been somewhere. And the skirt, it's been through a lot. There's some, some stringy pieces. There's some poofs in places maybe there shouldn't be. And we chose not to change it on its journey. So each person that talks on the podcast about it is wearing basically a different version of the skirt because it changes every time it moves. Yeah.
So it evolves as the empowerment evolves. Yeah.
Yes. And we don't change it either. We don't fix it to make it look like it did again. We don't fix it to make it perfect. We allow people to add to it if they want to, but most don't. They wear it as is. And they share their experiences, and it's just amazing. It's been absolutely amazing. I'm so blessed and so grateful that so many women have connected, so many people, men as well, have connected with the movement. So yeah.
Excited. Oh my gosh. I'm really happy about the tools and taffeta because it brings the men on in. So it's not like this sense of exclusivity, but it's like you all everybody can find the color that they was born with, regardless of gender. So I love that. Yes. I love that. I love it.
And the cape itself, although it may look like a traditional cape we see with men, and we see in comic books, we see in TV shows and movies, the cape is helping to remind men of their vulnerability and their color and their empowerment. And when you say men's empowerment, it doesn't have the same feeling as when you say women's empowerment. It's as though we shouldn't pay attention to that as much. And I believe we should. And so let's share a cape, let's share a skirt, let's talk about how we could all feel empowered and vulnerable and messy at the same time.
Yes, I'm telling you that there is something very powerful, and I'm not sure why, but there is something very powerful about a man being able to be vulnerable. I think that is a strength in itself, and it's kind of like, can I say it sexy? Can I say that?
Yes. Absolutely.
It is. It's very endearing when you can be vulnerable as a man and you can properly express your emotions in a healthy way. That's real nice. So for y'all men, take notes. It's very nice. So
I totally agree.
Are there any other new projects coming down the pipeline, Miss Tears and Tools, that you want to share with us?
I have got you, if you could go into my brain for just a second, into my mind, and see the things I would like to do. It's a dream of mine to do this program that would be a ton of tool, and it would be helping people in different parts of the world to wear tool creations and connect with that part of themselves. So that's sort of something that's in my mind, but I'm really hoping to expand Tears and Tulle out to more people, and combined with Tears and Taffeta, and sort of, I say it's my little empowerment empire I'm creating from the basement of my house. I just want to reach as many people through these two projects, and then open to what I haven't discovered yet, what is coming, and I think the more we open to the uncertainty of those adventures, we could really find ourselves in some creative places. It's not easy, it's hard to stay in those spots, the uncomfortable spots, but I think it's important to do so. Yeah.
Agreed. Excellent. Well, I want you to use this time. Can you tell my audience where they can find you? Give us social media tags, give us websites, whatever it is that you want to share. Where can we can find your book? What if you want to wear the skirt or if you want to wear the cape? How can my people find you?
Absolutely. So if you go to, for anyone who's watching the video portion, you'll see this picture pop up. It's Tears and Tulle. It's sort of the book cover there. If you Google Tears and Tulle, there's nothing else called Tears and Tulle. You will find an abundance of information on different things we have going on. You can go to ginabell.co. If you buy a book off of my site after watching this podcast, use the code RAINBOW and that'll give you a super fun discount. So that's like an exciting little thing we have going on. But yeah, ginabell.co, or I'm telling you, just Google Tears and Tulle. You will find so many cool articles and stories. But yeah, the website will have information on how to wear your own skirt and share your story. We love to share other people's stories on our website. So if you get your own skirt and you share your story, please reach out to us. We'd love to share your information. And you can just find a lot of cool, and you can track the skirt in real time. So if you go on Instagram, Facebook, or my website, ginabell.co, or look up Tears and Tulle on social media with that handle. Tulle is spelled Tulle, so Tears and Tulle. You will find, you'll be able to follow the skirt in real time and get a lot of other information. So
yes, I'm so excited. Gina, thank you so much for your time this morning. I really just love your energy. I love your heart, that you're like, your whole purpose, your motivation behind this is to see someone else empowered, to see someone else's life bettered. And you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with that kind of spirit, with that kind of heart. So thank you. And I really appreciate you taking your time with us. And I'm super excited to get my hands on that skirt. Trust and believe, y'all, as soon as it happens. Of course, I have to turn it over to Miss Gina first before I let y'all see, but trust and believe, the pictures will be out there. We gonna make it live. I'm super excited.
I can't wait. I cannot wait. I can't wait to see. I love your energy too. I cannot wait to see what magic you bring to this project. So I'm so glad you're part of it. And I can't wait to see. I just can't wait.
Thank you, love. All right, babies. Well, it's that time again. I want you guys to do something nice for yourself because you deserve it. Feel free to hit me up on my DMs, Facebook, or my website, and let me know what you did to give yourself a little treat this week because you deserve it. So until next time, y'all, be good to one another. Peace.
We are not so different.